she to be buried in the Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight, the crown her hath sat on her, and find it Christian burial.
How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be si offendo. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. An act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man were to go to this water and drown himself, it is will he, nilly, he goes. Mark you that? But if the water were to come to the man and drown him, he drowns himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, Mary, it is. Crowners quest law.
We have the truth that does not been a gentlewoman. She should have been buried o Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves. Come, my spade, there is no ancient gentlemen, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave diggers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answeredest, not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger, either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well, but how does it well? It does well to those who that do ill. Now dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. To it again, come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that in a yolk.
Mary, now I can tell.
To it?
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains. No more about it, for your dull will never mend his beating. And when you are asked this question, say, a grave maker the houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go to yon, fetch me a stoup of liquor. In youth when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract time for my behave, oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in him in his property of easiness.
'Tis e'en so. The hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
But age with a stealing step hath clawed in his clutch, and hath shipped me until the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jolts it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician, one this ass now overreaches, one that could circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or that of a courtier, one that could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, good lord? This might be my lord such one that praised my lord such one's horse when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, even so, and now my lady worms chapless, and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's to fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on't.
A pickaxe and a spade for a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made such, I guess, is meet.
There's another. Why, may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now? His quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in time a great buyer of land, with his statues, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines, and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, that the length and the breadth of a pair of indentures, the very conveyance of his land, will hardly lay in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha!
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is parchment not made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. What grave is this, sir?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay is for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who's to be buried in't?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is! We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. But by the Lord Horatio, these 3 years I've taken note of it. The age has grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier that he galls his kibe. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days of the year I came to it to that, our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He was mad and sent to England.
Eh, Mary, why was he sent to England?
Why? 'Cause he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, 'tis no great matter.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There are men there that are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, with even losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why? Here in Denmark. I've been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lay in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if he had not been rotten here before he die, as we many pocky courses nowadays that scarce hold laying in, he will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tenner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so damned with his trade that he will keep out of water a great while, and your water is a sort of care of your whoreson's dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull hath lain you in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whoreson's mad fellow it was. Who do you thinks it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a madman's rogue. A poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was York's skull, the king's gesture.
This?
Even that!
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were once to set the table on a war, now to mock your own grinning? Quite chapfallen? Now, get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her, let her paint an inch thick, to this favour she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looketh of this fashion in the earth,
Even so.
and smelt so?
Ha!
Even so, my lord.
To what base uses may we return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider, too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it. As thus Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust, the dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why, of that loam whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth, which kept the world in awe, should patch a will in to expel the winter's flaw. But soft, aside, here comes the king. The queen, the courtiers, who is that they follow? And with such maimed rights? This doss bestoken the course they follow, did with the desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate, couch away a while and mark.
What ceremony else?
This is Laertes, a very noble youth, mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies has been as far as enlarged as her warren ties. Her death was doubtful, and but the great command of oversways the order she should be in ground unsanctified, have lodged till the last trumpet of her charitable prayers. Shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her, yet here she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maid instruments, and the bringing home of her bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead tossing sage Recrum, and such rest to as peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair, unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be, when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed do have decked sweet maid, that have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe, fall 10 times. Treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth awhile, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made to overtop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars, and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearts? This is I, Hamlet the Dane!
The devil take thy soul!
Thou praise not well! I prithee take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not splentative and rash, yet I have in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear away thy hand!
Pluck them asunder! Hamlet! Hamlet!
Gentlemen! Good, my lord. Be quiet.